Moving on, we have a website query that's come in. Bharti Verma says that he and his brother took a joint loan for a flat registered jointly in their names. Now they plan to transfer the loan to one applicant so that they can purchase another property on either of their names. So Bharti wants to know what is the process to remove the name of the co-applicant. He also asks what paperwork needs to be done for this.
See, this is a very interesting situation because very many times we've said this thing that, two sisters or brother and sister are generally not financed together because of obvious reasons that they will have their separate families and things like that. Very often two brothers are probably living in the same house and therefore that is okay, and at least that's how the institutions think. So now,
if that's how the institutions think, though we don't agree with it.
Yes, I mean, I don't see any reason why two sisters can't borrow together, or for that matter, even two unknown parties, two friends, why can't they borrow it together? I mean, they can pretty much do it if they wanted to. So here in this situation, so for every loan agreement, there are two parts to this whole thing. If you are co-owners of the property, then the funding institution will always insist that you become co-applicants also. But the reverse is not necessarily true, meaning you could be not the owner of a property, but you could still be a co-applicant on the whole, on this particular loan. So now we have to go under that assumption that between the two of you, one of you should not be the owner of the property, because then that's the only logical way by which you can get out. Now, when you get out of this, how will you really get out? So there is a loan agreement that the financial company has done with yourselves. Now, in that loan agreement, what they are basically saying is that the loan is being given to both of you together based on the income credentials of both of you together. So, technically speaking, if one of you can now afford to handle the entire EMI of the loan by yourself, then the other person can be retired out of this loan arrangement, and which means they will have to do another loan agreement again to cancel the previous one and to make the new agreement in force. And when they do that new agreement in force, obviously one person, whoever wants to get out or exit this particular loan arrangement, would have exited, and the other person would then have the total liability. So the one who is going out will be discharged of his liabilities, and the one who is staying in will have additional liability. But that is again provided your income criteria suffices the banking institution or the NBFC who's lended the money. So that is one thing that you need to understand. Now, if both of you are co-owners, then it might be difficult for you to get out of this kind of a loan arrangement. However, for clarification purpose, let me also say that if you went ahead and applied for another loan elsewhere, your eligibility would be affected to the extent of the EMI payable, but there is nothing that stops you from actually going and applying for a new loan. So by all means, go ahead and try it, and see if the another institution for another property purchase that you want to do is happy and willing to lend you that money. And till the time they don't sort of disburse the loan to you, you have all the decisions in your hand. Even if you get a sanction letter, you still have the decisions in your hand whether to take the disbursement or not, right? So therefore, that control you have.
So essentially what you're saying is that they go out and take another loan again as co-applicants.
No, if they wanted to. Their fundamental question is, can I get out of this? So the answer is, if you are co-owners, then it may be difficult for you to get out. Assuming that one of you is not a co-owner and is just a co-applicant on the loan, then that person may be allowed to go away, provided the other person can take the entire EMI based on his or her credentials.
Kartik, what he's saying is very interesting from another point of view. I'll tell you this. We've also been of late getting a lot of questions from couples.
Yes.
Who've taken a home loan as co-applicants, they're co-owners in a property, and for whatever reason, they've decided to part ways.
Right.
Now, that's where the problem comes, because they've probably been paying their EMI for a couple of years, or for 5 or 6 years, and now they want to, one person wants to get out of that property, and the other person is willing and able in that sense to carry on paying that EMI. So, what you are essentially saying is, if you are co-owners in a property, it may not be possible to do that.
Yes. Now, but in a situation that you suggested here, where there is a couple and they are parting ways, then there is a different arrangement possible. Even in their case, they could actually have it. Now, what you can do is you can first do a transfer of ownership, which means you can relinquish your right in the property. How do you do it? You gift the portion of your property to the other person. So in case of spouses, one spouse can give his or her 50% to the other spouse. How do you do it? You do it by a gift deed. And there has been a recent ruling as a result of, recent means the last couple of years, by which you can only, by merely writing this thing on a 500 rupee stamping, you don't have to pay the entire stamp duty of even that 2%, which used to be the case earlier. So with a 500 rupees stamping, you can actually gift your share of the property to the other person. You know, I mean, of course, before you get divorced. So, and the same applies for a brother and
both
sister.
Both of them can also do this, right?
Yes. So even in our situation, in Bharti Verma's situation, also this can happen. So one of you give the property as a loan to the other, whoever wants to go away. So therefore, now you are only a co-applicant, but not a co-owner of the property, because you have given your rights or your title to the other sibling or spouse, as the case might be. Then then it's up to the financial institution to draw up a new loan agreement and cancel the previous loan agreement and go ahead. You might have to pay the stamp duty on that loan agreement, which is really quite nominal.
Now, Kartik, I know you're a lawyer as well as being a finance expert. So, which is easier, convincing the bank or getting this legal procedure done?
Well, I mean, you will have to do the legal procedure first before you even talk to the bank. So, it's not like a chicken and egg situation, really.
No. What I'm asking is, what is easier? Making that gift deed, in Bharti Verma's case, I'm not talking about the divorce.
Yes, so if both the brothers and sisters, if both the siblings are owners of the property, then go ahead, make a gift deed first, transfer the property to the other person. Whoever wants to get out will then opt out of the loan agreement later on. So, you have to do this. This is the only procedure to do it.
Right, Bharti, there you have it. It's a very novel, out-of-the-box, answer to the question that you had. And it's also probably the easiest way out. Because like I told you earlier, Kartik is both a lawyer as well as a personal finance expert. So there you have it.
You can watch live TV on our website, mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.